Alright, I have loaded the piece of cold aluminum. Yeah, man, it looks like something that Santa would leave a kid that has not been a good boy. To be honest, if Santa wants to leave me a bunch of cold aluminum, I'll take it. I'm gonna run this, well, I start at 1200, but I think we can easily do this at 1800. And by the way, Bob Warfield from CNC Cookbook has a posting on his blog on how to compute the speeds, and I imagine it has to do with the diameter of this guy and the fact that there is only a single cutter. So right now I have this is the insert for aluminum. If I wanted to do some ferrous materials, I will have to change the insert, but I've never done ferrous materials, so I imagine there will be a time for that. To just start the motor, and then, or you say the spindle, so makes it sound like this is a car. I'm gonna take it to this side and slowly approach. You know, I can feel the vibration on my table here. Okay, and let me take it a little bit closer. And we're gonna start seeing chips, but let me try to get a better angle so that you can get an idea of how gorgeous this gets as it is working. I think this is a better angle. Notice how horrendous the surface is. I'm not gonna put my finger in there because I am terrified of this fly cutter. The first time I acquired this fly cutter, it's like I felt a need to reach it with my hands. And rest assured, and once you see what this is gonna do to the metal, rest assured that if any body part comes in contact with this, the amount of blood and corned beef is gonna be through the roof. So you really don't want to be anywhere close, okay? We have engaged, now we can do X. It's gonna go quick, but this is obviously obviously this material is all over the place. You must be saying, where is the prettiness? You'll see. Let's get there first. It's gonna go fast here. Okay, what I'm gonna try now is go at 1800, and I think I'm gonna get better surface finish. I mean, and that surface finish is pretty good, but I think it can be better. And let's see, hopefully this doesn't fly apart. 1800, and I'm gonna go a little bit down on C, just 4 mils. Now we're gonna go slow here. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay, what I want to try now is I'm going to cut from the other direction, and I think this was going to give us the best surface finish. One mystery is something that perhaps you guys can leave in the comments. Maybe my machine is not trimmed, although I checked it a while ago and it seemed okay, but it almost seems like when I'm going this way, there is a lot of it's almost as if the part is at an angle, because I don't get a cut when I'm going on the other way unless I go down further on C. So that's kind of odd. I don't know, maybe that's just how fly cutters work. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed what I was trying to explain before, but when I was going on this direction, the blade cut as it was going in, but then once it went in, it wouldn't cut again. Okay, so it almost looked like this part is at an angle somehow, or whatever is the result is at an angle. So it would cut on this direction, but it would not cut on this direction. Okay, now when the part is going that way, so it is going into X negative, or the blade is going into X positive. Is that right? Yeah, the blade will be going in X positive. Then you saw, let me illustrate this. So now when the blade is going that way, so the blade is going into X negative, I'm sorry. So the blade is going into X negative. The machine, the blade would cut as it was entering into the part, but also it would cut on this direction. Why is that? That's something that I don't understand. I know one of the directions would be man, I don't remember the terminology, but you know how it is with end mills, that you can be cutting in favor or against, I guess what they call clockwise or counterclockwise. I guess I should brush on my terminology, but maybe that is something to fly cutters where if, man, I just don't know. So if anybody has the answer to why that happens, why it cuts both ways when it's going this way but not when it's going this way, that would be very nice to know. But anyway, I mean, this looks amazing. I'm just gonna, and you may be seeing some lines, but man, there is no way this is not a good finish. And I bet you can get better finish if you knew what you were doing. But then again, I'm just an experimenter, you know. But this is, compare this to this. Whoa, right? Who cares if you can see a few lines? To me, this is great. Like and everything that I have done that looks like this, people are mesmerized. I think, you know, lines like this are acceptable. I don't think there is anything wrong with it. So this is a very nice piece of aluminum. Looks horrendous because it's been through hell, but if you remove that layer, man, you have a gorgeous piece of aluminum that we can do something with. And by the way, anything that you make at the end, you would do something like this just to make it look pretty, because of course, no, you're never gonna buy pretty aluminum. There is no such thing as pretty aluminum that you can buy. You basically have to make it pretty. Well, it looks good to me. Alright, I decided to give this guy a little try and see how good it works. A few observations that I want to make here. You know, this is cheap. This was like anywhere between $20 and $30. Probably less, depend. I mean, the one that I got on a big lot, I have no idea how much it was. But here's something that truly pissed me off. This guy, the shank is supposed to be ½ inch, but it won't go into the TTS ½ inch holder. That right there tells you that the tolerance on this guy is not as good as it should be. But then again, 20 bucks for a full set of tools, three cutters with, you know, the tool here with the high-speed steel cutter. Is you get what you pay for, right? So luckily I had 2 sets and I could use one to do a quick experiment. I had to grind this tool. I mean, you really don't want to use it as it comes. This is not usable at all. And how do I know? Because I tried, of course. A little bit moronic move there, but I decided to sharpen it. And do not assume that I know what I'm doing here, because to be honest, I don't. I have never been good at sharpening high-speed tools, but this one works. Basically, I guess what you want to do is get a single point contact, so you can get like a single point cutter. And I'm certain there is a science and numbers on this and angles and all the stuff that I just haven't gotten into it. So unfortunately, I'm not an expert, but this worked as good. Now, Thematic says that these guys, they don't work very well because this is a lathe tool. I guess they were talking about the ones that use an actual, you know, like a carbide, not a carbide insert, but like a carbide, like a brazed carbide into a steel shank. I don't know. They say that they get way better results from the supercut because it's an actual milling insert. To be honest, I kind of like this. Man, I cannot tell. I wouldn't say, oh my god, there is no way I'm gonna put up with this. I could put up with this. Here is the fly cutter, the super fly cutter output. and here is the cheapo $20 output. So you know what I'm thinking is I can use the super fly cutter with an insert for steel, and then I could use this one for aluminum. So now I have two fly cutters and I don't have to be changing inserts. Or I could buy another super fly cutter and just put an insert for steel, but I don't know. I mean, this doesn't look hideous, so to me this is okay. Don't you think? I mean, this looks okay. Excuse me, getting a little bit of a cold here, and there are still a few pits here. I mean, obviously this material is all messed up, so if you want to get rid of this, you will have to go deeper. But yeah, that's basically the difference between the cheapo and the super fly cutter. They were both running at 1800 RPM, and yeah, they look good. They both look excellent. This one already looks a little blemished because it wasn't devised and it's filled with fingerprints. But man, I mean, this looks excellent. This looks excellent. They both look good. Okay, I have done the big side here on the part, and this is probably where the super fly cutter excels from this. I mean, let's face it, the super fly cutter is way better than the cheapo one here for many reasons. For example, one thing that I was thinking of, I actually had to sharpen this, and I am not an expert, so that by itself, if I use an insert that has been professionally designed and prepared, man, that relieves me of having to prepare this guy. So that's the first advantage. Second is the radius. If you look at the area here, the reach on the fly cutter, on the super fly cutter, is far substantial. So to do a guy like this and taking the whole width in a single pass, the super fly cutter has a better chance. The super fly cutter, I'm still using the 3 screws here. The 3 screws are engaging with this guy. On this tool, I have already taken this to the maximum, so that's pretty much it. I guess I could find a longer piece of high-speed steel, and that could work as well. But if you're just gonna use what comes stock, that is pretty much the maximum diameter you're gonna get, because you really don't want to use just one screw. That's definitely, I don't think that's a good idea. You can use two. Definitely 3 is kind of ridiculous. I mean, this thing was, if you look at how it comes, I mean, how much do you have left if you're using the 3 screws? Not a lot. I guess you could do it, but it's not a lot left. By the way, this is the biggest of the 3 that comes on the set. So right there, that tells you this is the biggest diameter this is something like the biggest diameter you're gonna get with this set. With the super fly cutter, I could still take it a little bit longer, a little bit further to the outside. So I think I will have, even if I have a bigger width, I should be able to tackle it. The other thing that I noticed, and then again, I admit this is probably not sharpened correctly, but the burrs on the corners, man, there's practically no burrs on this side. This is practically perfect. If you look at the burrs that came out with this guy, there were some burrs that needed cleaning. So the output from the super fly cutter is definitely cleaner. The surface finish is very similar for both, but the burrs was definitely cleaner on the super fly cutter. So that's very interesting. Then again, this is something that has been designed by experts. The cutting surface here is basically, man, it's optimized by mechanical engineers, people that know what they're doing. And in here, I have a surface that is probably a nightmare. Like, I bet a mechanical engineer looking at this, or even a machinist will look at this and most likely pukes their entrails and immediately faint on horror, on how horrendous this is. It did a job, but most likely not the right way of doing it. So Superfly cutter, I think it's much more advantageous. But then again, you get what you pay for, right? I keep on saying the same stuff. But just thought of mentioning that. Well, I am swimming in chips here. That's one of the results that you're gonna get when you're doing fly cutting. You're removing so much material, you know, chips are gonna be everywhere. Maybe that's why it's called a fly cutter, because you have chips flying everywhere. You know, most a bunch of the tour maquilleurs out there, like John from NYC CNC, and I think it's also John from John Grinsmo from the Knife Maker guys. They have enhanced their machine with an enclosure, and fly cutting is one of those cases where an enclosure will be super duper handy. Now, like they have pointed out, an enclosure is not something that is going to make you money. It's just something that is convenient. And since I'm not even making money, I really cannot afford an enclosure. So my enclosure solution is this cheapo broom. That's how I'm going to solve my chips everywhere problem. Maybe one day I'll have an enclosure. I don't know. But that's irrelevant now, because look at this beauty. Holy crap it is. I mean, this thing was hideous at the beginning, and look how awesome it looks. It's square, it's ready for a project. And you know, I mean, what I was doing here, I really wasn't, this fly cutting wasn't because I was working on a part or something. I was just basically illustrating how you can take something that looks extremely hideous, bring it back into beauty. And it may seem like I was wasting my time, but rest assured that this would be a step that you would need to take if you get a piece of aluminum that is all messed up and you need to remove all of the blemishes. By the way, whenever you buy aluminum, it's not gonna be ready. It's not gonna look like this. It's basically impossible that you're gonna get something from the mill looking like this. So, in many of the cases, one of the first steps or one of the last steps when you're preparing your part is to do fly cutting to bring back some shine into the part, okay? So you can either do it at the beginning or at the end. In some cases you will do it at the beginning and at the end. It depends on the part, okay? So I'm very pleased with the results. The Thematic TTS Super Fly Cutter is an excellent tool. It's only $120. It's really not that expensive. If it was like $500, I would be like, oh man, that's just too much. Then again, I mean, it's not much to it. So 120 bucks, I think is affordable. I think it's a good idea to invest. If it is too much, remember you can get those cheapo fly cutter sets. I mean, 3 of them with the shank and everything for anywhere between $20 and $30. Tremendous deal. To be honest, I don't see myself building one. I really don't recommend anybody to build one unless you have some specific needs. Excuse me, but for $20 to $30, it's ridiculous. I mean, how much is your time worth? If you're wanting to say my hour is worth, I don't know, 25, 50, 100 bucks an hour, there is no way you're gonna be able to make this fly cutter in 15 minutes. Just go and freaking buy a set for $20 or $30. Extremely pleased with the results. They both work fine. The Super Fly Cutter will have a little bit wider range, but then again you can buy a bigger fly cutter as well. So, but the Super Fly Cutter is an extremely excellent tool. So, you know, today is December 23, so I want to say goodbye by wishing you guys an excellent and super duper awesome Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, whichever you guys prefer. Thank you for tuning to my YouTube channel, and I'll see you next time. Alright, take care. Which I am going to kill
What seems to be the problem here, Lexington?
You fell for my trap! Now behold, I am going to dose you with nothing other than...
What is this?
Is this aluminium? From planet Alumington? Yes! Now you are going to die! Because this is aluminium! Oh my god, the pain!
Dude, did I trick you or what? Dude, aluminium doesn't kill me. I just let that lie fly on the newspaper so that you would be tricked. And I have tricked you bad. So now prepare, you're gonna go to jail.
Oh my god, how could this be? I thought it was true. Wait, quick, I am going to drop your girlfriend here through this cliff. Prepare to suffer.
Yeah, go ahead, dude. Just drop her to the cliff. I don't give a crap.
What are you saying? This is your loved one.
Now, dude, I have like 100 girlfriends, man. A guy with a cape that flies, I can have every single chick on this planet. By the way, I'm just gonna go now. I have some aluminum tamales. See you later, dude.
Well, that didn't work as planned. Hey, do you want to go on a date with me?